Hi, Year 11. These are the answers to the collecting and classifying data sheet that has been given to you on Google Classroom, and it mainly involves exercise 4A and 4B. Now, if you've downloaded the other sheet that I basically made up from the textbook, 4A, collecting and classifying data, I'll give you a couple of definitions. So the definition of statistics is the science of collecting facts and information. The information is organised in a form that can be analysed easily, and conclusions and predictions can accurately be based on. The facts or pieces of information collected are called data. Data may be collected by counting, measuring, and asking questions. So your first little exercise that you have to do on the sheet is you've got to tell me the 4 processes of statistical inquiry. Now, if you're looking at my sheet, I went and circled them for you from Google Classroom. The 4 steps of the inquiry process are identifying a problem and posing a statistical question, collecting or obtaining data, representing and analysing that data, and communicating and interpreting the findings. So from the textbook I keep reading, in this chapter we will investigate the first 2 of these steps. Questioning can be by interview, either in person or by phone or by questionnaire. The usefulness of the responses to the questions asked will depend on the relevance, clarity and structure of the questions. Questions should use simple language, be unambiguous, so in other words not confusing, so that there can be no doubt about their meaning. And they should be free from bias, that is, free from unfair influence. Oh, a lot of F there. All right, so here are the next set of what you need for these questions. The 6 main questionnaire types are free response or open-ended questions, yes-no questions, true or false questions, tick a box type questions, response scale questions, and continuum scale questions. If you want to know what in God's name all those things are, here are some explanations. Free response basically is a good old, what do you like or dislike about the present school uniform? So this would possibly collect a lot of information, but because there could be many different responses, it might be difficult to organise and interpret the responses. Yes, no, I think that one's fairly straightforward. You just want a yes or a no answer. Responses to this question, like would you like to change the present school uniform, will indicate whether there is a desire to change the uniform, but will not indicate what changes are wanted. Okay, so it's only asking for 1 or 2 particular answers. True or false, very similar to a yes-no question. So if you posed a question, for example, like the present school uniform is satisfactory, then you're just asking pretty much for a yes or a no answer. Okay, again, no changes would be indicated. Number 4, tick a box, exactly as it says. You give a couple of different selections and they've got to tick the box. For example, in the textbook it says, which of the following items of school uniform would you like to see changed? Boys have selections of shirt, trousers, shoes or pullover for them to tick from, and girls have blouse, skirt, shoes, pullover or jumper to tick from. Okay, the response to this question will give information about the particular changes wanted. Now, response scale means you will circle the response that most closely agrees with your opinion of the present school uniform. So, for example, you might use things like 1 for strongly agree, strongly like or agree, 2 for like or agree, 3 for no opinion, 4 for dislike, and 5 for strongly dislike or disagree instead of if you don't like, dislike. The responses to this question will give a clearer indication of the depth of feeling concerning a change, but will not indicate what changes, if any, are wanted. And the last one is a continuum scale. It's pretty much just a straight line. You'll have strongly agree at one end, you'll have strongly disagree at the other end, and you pretty much just place a cross somewhere on that line to tell people how you really feel. Oh. Now, I'm going to skip down to here because this one down here is still exercise 4A. In exercise 4A, hopefully you did this in year 8, but it's been a while since you've been in year 8, so let's see what you remember. So in year 8, you would have learnt about different types of data. And there are 2 types that you need to know about. I'll read the proper explanations from the textbook just so you know. You have categorical variables. Now, down the side of your textbook, it says a categorical variable is a qualitative characteristic of data that can be divided into groups or categories. And a numerical variable pardon me, is a quantitative is another word for number, characteristic of data that can be counted or measured. All right, so pretty much in my diagram there, I'm going to show you what the differences are. Categorical variables, no numbers are used. That's pretty much it. Okay, there's always categories of some sort. Eye colour, letters for grades. Okay, no numbers. But with numerical values, which is called qualitative or numerical data, just in case you come up with qualitative, that means we do use numbers, and we normally count or measure to get these particular ones. Now, categorical can be broken up into two different types, nominal and ordinal. Now, nominal from the textbook says a qualitative variable that names categories into which the data can be sorted. There is no order. So most important here for nominal means no order. Nominal, no. Okay, hopefully you can try and remember that. For example, things like eye colour, favourite pet, could be considered nominal categorical data. Now, ordinal categorical data does have some sort of order. It has a scale or a ranking. And the best one I can think for this is your grades. Okay, A, B, C, D, E. No numbers are used, but an A obviously to an E indicates some sort of order. So your definition said a qualitative variable that does have an intrinsic order. Intrinsic means it's there. I don't really know, but I'll have to look it up. Okay, you can look it up for me, Google. All right, so numerical values. Now we're talking about numbers that are used in data. We have two types. We have discrete and we have continuous. Now, a discrete variable, according to your textbook, is a type of numerical variable that is exact, usually resulting from counting. So you'll notice there I've written exact numerical value, result of counting, for example, number of children in a family. If you are one of those people sitting on the side of the road counting cars, that would be a discrete numerical variable, okay, or data. Whenever you're counting, that's discrete. Continuous, however, according to your textbook, says a type of numerical variable within a range of values, usually resulting from measuring. So there you'll see the result of measuring. So try and always remember measurement for continuous. And things that are measured are mass and temperature. Mass or weight, but we say mass on Earth. Okay, now just be aware, shoe size is not actually measuring, okay, because you have certain shoe sizes like 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5. That's actually decided to be that it's a result of counting, because you're counting a particular shoe size. So just so you know, shoe size is not considered to be continuous data. All right, going back now up here, this section here is actually from exercise 4B. And if I go to the 4B sheet with some information on it, it talks about census or sample and self-selected sampling. So these are some things hopefully you did learn in Year 8 as well. A population is when a survey or data is taken from the whole group. So if I was talking about the population of the school, for example, it doesn't have to be the population of Australia, but if I'm talking about the population of the school, that's when we've either surveyed or we've taken data about the whole population of everybody at school. Okay, if we're talking about Australia, it means everybody in Australia. If we're talking about the world, it means everybody in the world. Now, a census is a survey where data is collected about every individual in the whole population. So some of you may have noticed in the last few years, we actually had a census, and that is actually sent home or through online. Everyone has to answer it online, and everybody's got to answer exactly what's happening in their household on a particular night all over Australia, okay, to get a good idea of what's going on all around the world. Australia, I should say. Okay, so a sample is a survey where data is collected on only a portion of the population. So a small group, hopefully it's contingent of what the whole population is like, but instead of doing everybody, you just do a small group. Obviously, it saves time and it's a little bit cheaper than asking everybody. Now, a biased sample is a survey where data has been unfairly influenced by the collection process. and therefore is not truly representative of the whole population. It's like asking Penrith supporters who's the best team in the rugby league. You know, obviously they're going to say Panthers, which we all know is totally wrong. Next one, self-selected sample. That's halfway through exercise 4B if you can't find it at the beginning. And that's basically when people volunteer to respond to a survey. One of the biggest ways that this happens is via like a radio survey. That should say EG. Don't know what happened there. So some advantages and disadvantages of a self-selected sample. Well, some advantages are that it reduces time and expense of finding subjects who meet the criteria. They're likely to be more committed, which ensures attendance, and they may have greater willingness to provide insight. They might actually have knowledge of whatever you're talking about in the first place. Now, the disadvantages, obviously, is that it's likely to be self-selection bias. They can impose their strong viewpoints or even their political views, and this could actually exaggerate the finding or lead to a sample not being representative of the whole population. Okay, there you go, you 11. I'll come back with some more soon. Bye.